Okay, I think I'm cooking with the gasolines. Yeah, all right. Okay then. So, I am playing catch up. I've been away. Um, I've been doing a lot. So, it's been busy times. Busy times at the OK Corral. So, yep. I hope everybody's been doing well. I hope things are good for folks and that everybody's having a good month. Easter coming up. Do. So, yeah, I've been working on a lot of large scale projects, and I have been doing some teaching, and I have been doing a bit of running around. Um, One of the things that I've been in process with is I've been doing these really, working in a really large sketchbook and doing really large workups of imagery in order to, with multiple, before I forget, with multiple mediums and, multiple imagery sources just to sort of encourage and inspire what medium do you like the most and what style do you like it the most in. Um, and so because of that, I've been getting a little bit inspired. So some of these. So one of the things I started doing recently, I started, and I've got a whole bunch of these. We're going to do one or two today. But what these are is 5x7 pieces of colored cardstock, and so I have put together a tidy little stack of them to work and choose from, and these are all 5x7. And so what these are is that in frame? I think that's in frame. Yeah, it's in frame. So these are all individual pieces of cardstock that I'm doing these character studies on, and because I can work on them fairly quickly, I can get a lot of them done. And the whole getting a lot of them done thing is it encourages me and allows me to just play. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. I'm going to jump back and forth for a minute. Brace with me. So here is the first one. Now this is a fine hullabaloo. And so we've also got this as the finished page. And so I'm going to move my head out of the way for a second here. So here's the finished page, and here is the original art. And so really no changes going on, right? So there's our first one. And then this is our second. So I'll pull this up. Oh no, this is the second. I don't have the original art down here because it's in Lori's office, but I did a drawing of Lori, and that's in chalk on a heavy textured cardstock. So there's our first image. So this is Space Explorer. And so the art for this is pretty much the same, except for I added a star field to it digitally. So if you look at the original art, pretty much on the money. No real changes structurally to anything for any of these, really. And but I just added the stars so that the Space Explorer's helmet is reflecting stars. That's the big idea there. So this one, our next one that I've got to show you is She Can Hear Your Thoughts. And so with this, I've added the text, and that's about it. Once again, it's just the text has been added to it. So, but these pages that you've seen so far are in pencil crayon on these flat colored cardstocks. The one with Space Explorer was on a purple piece of cardstock. The Fine Hullabaloo is on a green piece of cardstock, actually multiple. And so, it's really just sort of getting the most that I can out of things. I think the next one is this. And it's, so there's the original, and here is the finished. And so the finished is text added to it. No modifications again, just text. So, you can do things like you could beef up the whites and make it a little more clear and clean, but honestly, I'm just enjoying the process as it stands. So there's the stone giant, and you can trying to give a sense of scale by having these birds fly past his gigantic noggin. And so there, the original art once more is there. So no changes, right? Right. Okay, so next up is Shady. And this one is the Lady of the Shade. And so it's just, there's some toning that I threw throughout there, some black, sort of smoky, misty bits of business that are not in the original art. And so this is, the last one, I'm sorry, was on a brown piece of cardstock for the stone giant. So all of the blues and things and whites are all added to the brown. So the brown is the base color. And then the Lady of the Shade, this blue, the intermediate blue that's in her skin tone, is actually the color of the cardstock. So there's an awful lot of coverage on this one. Lots of light colors, lots of dark colors. But this is just playing with tones and skin and things like that. And so I know that she has very Afrocentric features, but she's on her planet, everybody's blue. Let's just say for our little sci-fi story here that we're conceiving for this. So there's the dark blue for that. And so the next one will be this guy, the shape-changing alien guy. And again, just playing with little story ideas for each one, little character examinations. And so so there's the penciled image. And here is the finished image. So text, there's the story added to it with all that void space. So when planning, projects like this, if you leave space there within your composition, because you're going to do a blending of text and picture, then you leave that sort of facilitative space there for you to be able to write down your story in, and for it to be able to have the space it needs, to be able to occupy that space, and yet at the same time not overwhelm everything ideally. So there's that one. And then, so now we've switched to, I'm sorry, that page is on an orange colored cardstock. So there's the back of the space alien guy. So all of that light value, and then the deepening background, that's purples, that's whites. So that's on an orange piece of cardstock. So now we're going to switch. We're going to switch Arooski to, so this is a red cardstock to start with. And the medium that we've jumped to is paint. So with that in mind, so now as we're switching to the paint, it's the same kind of process that we're using. We're still doing character portrait examinations. It's just we switched our medium, so which is fine. We can do that. We're our own bosses, right? So the finish for this one, I add the text, and adding in all this. She's some kind of evolved space alien type thing. Hi, buddy. Corbin's joined us, folks. So that's that. So that's acrylic paint. Nope, leave that alone. Corbin's trying to drink my paint water. Not helpful. So there's that on a red piece of cardstock. And then our next one, so the text that is embedded into the image is all about evolution. So this is our next image. This again, yellow piece of cardstock, acrylic paint on it for our fellow here he's hot under the collar. He's on fire. So there's some people are always hot under the collar is what we've got on the finished art. And so the nice thing about when you scan some of these things is it really kicks up the colors that are on, the paper. And so it really punches those reds. It really punches the flames on the shoulders, etc., etc. So yeah, so this was a fun one to do, and yellow piece of cardstock for that. And then our next one is right here. Now, I haven't put text on this yet. This is the one that I had just painted. And sorry, I'm trying to get a climbing cat to get off of me. Hiya, Linda. How you doing? Hiya, Tim. So this one is our next study. This is acrylic paint again. And so here's the image. Again, sans text, but there's the scan of the original image itself. And that is on a fuchsia pink cardstock. So using all of these different colored cardstocks for these different kinds of characters, giving different tonality, giving a different, it adds a bit to the character development by having, this space explorer with the purples and give him his theme color. And, here she is with these passive pastel colors for the girl that can read thoughts. The big giant guy and the sense of scale and volume we're trying to get across here, but he's got his own earthy palette to him. And then we've got the Lady of the Shade, with that cool palette. The changeling guy, the kind of green, odd, tone to him and the surroundings. And then we've got, for our other orange character, I've done her on a red cardstock to give her differentiation from the previous one that's orange. But painting it in acrylic gives it a completely different sense to it, right? There's our fiery guy, nice bright yellow, bright color, right? And here's our current character. And so, and again, similar to the Lady of the Shade, similar ethnicity, but different different facial structure I'm trying to go for here, and different tone to the skin. So, but working on a pink instead of, the assumptive brown colors that one might make when picking these different colored cardstocks. Well, yeah, no, she's the pink suits her, the character's persona more in my head. So there's what we got, and I've got all of these bits of cardstock to work on that I've trimmed down from some oversized cardstock that I bought. I liked 8.5 by 11 as a uniform thing, and so when I have larger pieces of cardstock, I never really find myself gravitating towards them because I tend to like things to be of similar size. So I cut those in half, and that's how we landed on this. So, and I keep saying 5 by 6 or 5 by 7, but I think they're 4 by 6. So there's those. Now I've got this big old stack of Ruski of more to do. Now we can do a couple things here. I've worked on the acrylic. I've worked on the pencil crayon. I can do some ballpoint. I can do, because maybe we add some ballpoint ones to the mix, and we can just pick a random color. If anybody in the chat wants to pick a color, you're welcome to do so. Just put it. It's in watching the stream right now or watching the video. Pick a color. If you're watching this after the live is over, you can still pick a color, and I'll do the next one from that as well. But we've got all of these all set and ready to go. So now, it's not that I'm not doing the one-page stories, because a couple of these are from suggestions for one-page stories. It's just that I'm exploring and having fun and playing, and sometimes at the end of the day, That's the most important part. Look at that big hair just woohoo, going my way. What do you think of that, Corbin? Am I stylish? Corbin is sitting right beside me in the studio in his chair. Let me see if I can get the camera to. There he is. Say hi, buddy. Yeah, there's your Corbin viewing for today. So this is the area that I work on, and so if I have bleed over from the cardstock, it just goes on this paper. So, and I'm going to draw something on this later on, so I won't waste this either. Just keep it going. So, yeah, let's see. I've got some. You know what I've also got? I've also picked up this. All the Colors of the World. I think it's a song by Gowan. It's an old people joke. So, you know why it's an old people joke, Corbin? Because it was Lovers of the World. That was the song. Yeah. Corbin just does not get Gowan humor. So, I always find that when you buy these, colors of skin tones, things like this, what are they missing? A lot. There's no greens, and we need, for our skin tone, there's no specific pitch yellow, there's no specific pitch red, or, and those are important. It's great to have all of these colors to work from, but at the same time, there's a lot more to skin tone than just this. So, all right, so I've got these out now. So here's our skin tone rainbow. And yeah, it's a Crayola set, so they're not the greatest pencils, but they do the job. Corbin, Mr. Hey, there's your hand. I'm going to get you. Over here beside me. It makes it hard to work sometimes, this guy. So I'll put these pencils all over here so they're accessible just to the side here, but not being licked or bitten by Corbin, who is a thing he likes to do. So we can use those, or we can do something in pen, or I didn't set up for acrylic or watercolor or anything right now, but we can do that too if people are interested. So yeah, hi Chris, how you doing? Welcome aboard. So yeah, so thanks everybody for popping in, and I know I've been away, but busy, and I'm having a good day. I got approval for an event that I've been putting together, chalk drawing festival, and I've shown recently some of the chalk drawing that I've done here on the stream. So it's all good feelings. That event is a go. So the planning part, that's one thing. The executing part, oh, that's a whole different one. Sorry for all the noise. I am trying to find a pencil. And then I'll just put the rest of these aside, but for whatever reason, I'm not finding it, I'm sorry. Oh, it's because it's directly in front of my face. It's only right in your face, Chris. Okay, so there we go. We're cooking with the gasolines. All right, get that out of the road. So now we're all set, and we got lots of people saying hi. And I'm free. My only week free. My next period off is until July. Oh my gosh. Yeah. My June. It's June for me. So I completely understand that. And you got a lot of full-on marking to do where I just get to, satellite that part of things. Okay, so yeah, so I've got pencil crayons ready to go. So we've already done. These are pencil crayon ones. And these are acrylic ones. Now we can switch to ballpoint, or we can do some more pencil crayon. If anybody has preferences, let me know. Yeah, I'm pretty open to whatever thoughts people might have. I'm playing, I'm having fun, and doing these character studies this way allows me to, really just lean in. And oops, I'm so sorry, I got this crazy camera setting. Really just allows me to lean in and to play with the idea of character development. But oh my goodness, this is happy news. Chris says I got a schedule change, more working hours, and I think I'll have an assistant now, a student assistant. That's fantastic. Oh, and you joined Miriam on a stream last week. Oh, super cool. Super cool. All right, let's see what I got. I got the studio really functioning nowadays, and I built myself a new. Let me see if I can get this in. So this is all pens and pencils. Now there's a couple ones missing because they're over here on the desk, but I built this cabinet, this built-in cabinet behind me here in the studio, and then behind me is of course all of the art supplies that take up this whole wall as well. So it's nice to have everything accessible nearby, so that's always kind of nice when you've got stuff like that in place, so that when you do sit down and you are trying to figure out, what am I got to put into position here, what have I got to put into play next, then that's sort of set up for you to just turn around and reach and grab a thing. Yeah, it's really exciting news, Chris. I'm really happy to hear that for you. All right, so I'm just going to grab a bunch of random pens and let's mix it up. What have I got in here? I got in this here tickle trunk. Let's use this brown pen, orange pen. Start there. Got a red pen. Yeah, we're kicking it up. You got a red pen. I pull out a red pencil. I can visit you in your stream if you wish in the next days. Oh yes, excellent. Let's plot that. Let's plan that. Yeah, let's figure something out. I will text you tonight. We'll plan a time we're going to do that. Okay, so yeah, we're all set to get cracking. So I'm going to start doing. Now, I've got some color. I'm just trying to think of what color to work on. Maybe I'll do. I've done one on brown. Let's do another one on brown. And then, well, I don't know. His color's going to even show up on the brown. Maybe not so much. All right, you know what? Let's just do this orange. This orange one. We'll do this orange one. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's exciting, folks. Who's going to join us here on the stream. And let's get Linda on here, too. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a character study of a guy. And so what I'm doing, one of the things that I'm challenging myself to do right now is that I'm trying to draw different ethnicities and different perspectives on the face. And so now it's not everybody just standing there staring at the camera, and just trying out different shapes. So I'm going to use this orange. Let's see if the orange, can you see that? Is that up here? I think it does. So, you know what? We'll use the red. You use the red, Chris. Why don't you use the red, Chris? All right. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly throw in a structure. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be really loose here on this one. And I'm just going to start putting in structure for the face. And I'm not overly concerned about tight little clean details here. I'm just sort of sketching out. And one of the things that I'm trying to apply to myself in these drawings is that I'm focusing on light and how Red, much better contrast. Oh, thanks, Chris. Um, yeah, I'm trying to focus on the depiction of light and to capturing the qualities in light. If you're interested in seeing how a really good example of an artist that has a really strong sense of not only color but light is Mickey Manthillo. I think it's pronounced Manthillo. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, please let me know. Montllo. And a friend of mine told me that's Manthillo, like a TH sound. You know, so I'm emulating what he has told me. But absolutely fantastic artist with an absolutely fantastic sense. So, okay, so the fella that I'm doing right now is East Indian, so that I want to get him into this mix, because all these character studies that I'm doing is a way to sort of push myself and force myself to try to explore different things. Is this a pencil crayon or a ballpoint pen? Can I turn up my volume a bit? I'm trying to. I've got a new microphone system set in place, and so my problem is that I turn it away from my head. Is that better? I turn it away from my head, and I forget sometimes, and I'll aim it towards my neck. So I apologize. I hope that's better, folks. So this is a ballpoint. This is a Papermate ballpoint pen, and that I'm using here, and we're just going to structure out our image, and then we're going to switch over and start adding a whole bunch of different values to it. But right off the hop, I just wanted to get the structure of his face in place. And so these are my little notes to myself for some of these steps along the way. Because you're asking, what is this triangular shape in the forehead, or what is this random triangle down here? And it's a way for me to denote light. And then what that assists me with is to, when I'm taking the next step and I'm adding in values and pushing how some of these values work together in the face, this has sort of told me in advance that, pay attention to this area here. So just not being too precious about everything, just trying to get this face in as fast as I can. And all the exploration, all the fun that we're going to have is going to be with other colors for the most part. But the red is still, of course, going to be hiding in the bottom of it all. And we know it's there. People still know it's there. So, yeah. I hope everybody's working on cool stuff. I've tried to pop my head up out of the tall grass again. It's lots of exciting things going on right now, and lots of projects in place, and I've had lots of opportunities recently, and loving it. Really happy. Chris says, I'm getting a set of erasable ballpoint pens to test and to lend my future assistant to help me with writing task marking. I'll keep the black for myself and let the student use red and blue to mark. Oh, that's great. That's great. You know what I almost bought yesterday? I almost bought those pens that have the 4 colors in the top, and depending on which one of those triggers you press down, it's that color for the pen. I almost bought one of those purely out of a novelty, a novelty thing, and realize, what am I doing? I don't need these. Okay, so here is our basic red lines structured through for our character. Now, I'm going to come in, this may well seem counterintuitive, but I'm going to come in now, and I've got this light green, right? And so what I'm going to do right off the hop is that I'm going to go in throughout the composition, and I'm going to put pinches of green in the pallor of the skin. And because the orange has got a lot of red in it, and the red and the green are complementary colors, it's going to do some fun and interesting tonal things to work as our shadow mechanism for us to start defining the shadow for throughout the composition here. And, not trying to overthink, not trying to come at it as, in a really finished, every mark is the paste and perfect and mark, and I'm not made, we're loose, we're having fun. I've been coloring and doing paper mache flowers. Yeah, I saw that. I saw one today, and I tried to, I think I pressed big heart shape. I'm trying to, one of the things that I've been doing this month, for the last month, is staying off social, not sitting there and just, I think it's called doom scrolling is what people call it, where you just sit there on social media and just flip. And part of me at first was like, this is so unfair, because there's all these people I want to go see what they're doing and be supportive. But another part of me was like, you have got a lot on your plate. So, I'm sure everybody will understand, hopefully. And, this way I can get the things done that I need to get done. So we're adding in some structure to the face now, some depth. Chris says, I once saw one of those multiple pens with up to 8 colors. I bought separate color pens instead. It's by birthday month, April 25th. Nice. You get little things for me or for the house? Nice. That's how you do it. Yeah, I've... just come sit up here. Come on. Yes, I always ask. Can I come sit up there? Yep. There you go. Okay, Corbin's probably going to come in the camera now because he doesn't understand where his spot is on the desk. I've cleared off a part of the desk now because I'm working on large pieces. And so as if one of those large pieces isn't on the desk at the moment, because I have one facing me on the easel across the way, that he believes that this is all his area to sit there and help. Help is I believe that's the term you use, help. Okay, so hopefully this is starting to look like it's got some space, some dimension to it. Yeah, happy birthday month, says Linda to Chris. Happy birthday for sure. But, we'll see this. We're going to have you on this week, so we'll talk about your birthday and your plans, and amongst other things, and what you're working on. So I'm following through the face, finding these planes on the face. If we look at the face, okay, so here's our shape of the head. There we are. Here's our nose, right? Here's upper lip. Here's lower lip. There's our chin. If you think of this as the space for our eye, there's Corbin. That's not helping. Just sit down. I don't know if you can see him. He's literally right beside me. See? There you are. So when we look at the face, like all of these planes, and so we allow ourselves to be recognizing all of these sorts of things, when we start doing coloring, you can see how having an understanding of breaking a face down in this way, so that when we start adding light and shadow throughout our image, then we have a really stronger grasp of it, because we understand this plane, and this plane, and this plane, and this plane, and this plane. Right? So play with that. Play with that. Allow yourself that to to sort of play and explore that a little bit, and see where that takes you. Buddy, don't bite that. Again, he calls this helping. But it makes for some interesting shape language throughout an image. And allow the geometrics, allow some of those shapes to just come through on their own, of their own merit, so that, you know, it just gives you some interesting ways to move the eye around. It's fun to treat yourself during your birthday month. Kiki just decided to sleep on top of my belly. Oh, there you go. It's looking good, says Chris. Thank you very much. Little details this time, not a big purchase. That was my last year. Oh, last year you bought a car. Nice. Yeah, we did. We got our car last year. It's nice. It's the first time I've had a new car. Well, newish. Not maybe new to some who buy a brand new one, but you know. Corbin, stop. These headbutts everything. So I was away last Tuesday night teaching some drawing stuff at out of the house here, and Lori was home with Corbin, and he was carrying on so much that I come home and she's looking at cats to get another cat so he's not so, you know, so he's got another friend here in the house, so he's not so dependent on, where's Dad? Why isn't he in his studio? Buddy, see what I mean? You try drawing when somebody is just licking your hand the entire time. I'm not doing my job. I'm not doing my you know, what I'm supposed to be doing, which is clearly just petting him and nothing but all the time. So this is a light green pen that I'm using on an orange cardstock over a composition that's broken down with a red. So there we go. Subtle, Corbin. Yeah, very subtle. Yeah, so now you know, a lot of my creative decisions that I make in my projects has a lot to do with whether I have the ability to use both hands or Corbin's helping. So I'm not putting a lot of lines here because I'm leaving this space open for some light to hit that side. Chris says, my cats really miss people. I'm away 5 hours from Tuesday to Friday now. And the moment the cat sense I'm about to drive in, they're at the window. Oh, that's great. Yeah, yeah, it's interesting, you know. He meets me at the door and yells at me, "You're home, feed me." Yeah. So I'm working my way up to darker values as we go here. And everybody has a different way of approaching this. I like to come up from light to dark. Well, in all honesty, it's intermediate to dark. And for me, that helps me to have a real understanding of, you know, the overall composition. Work my way up, build my way up to it. So, but it sort of keeps you from getting overzealous with the darker values right off the hop, because it's sort of you go from, if you open up the engine right off as soon as you start the car, you know, where are you going to go from there? But stop. So I'm coming at it from the opposite way. I'm building it up piece at a time, little bits, running through the whole composition and adding these shapes as I go along. There's different approaches to how we draw. Sometimes I'll tractor where I'll start at one side and just move across to another. But lately I've been doing this a lot. So, Chris asked if I'm using reference. Yeah, I got a tiny thumbnail over there to the side that, here, I'll show you. There's, I'm drawing this face here. I know this is a ridiculous way to approach it, but for me, it just sort of, and I've opened it up, so it's this big that I'm using, and so it makes me have to think a lot about the marks that I put down, the shapes that I put down, and not to overly focus on all these little details and pull myself back, right? And the reason that I encourage that is that it really makes you lean into your imagination a little bit more, for you to think and consider things a little bit more as you're working, so that you really take stock of the marks that you put down and where and when. And this is how we work every day in the studio. You know, the last so long, I have tried to actively have Corbin settled or in his own space when I'm trying to stream or something like that. I've given up at this point. I just let him do his thing, so that he feels comfortable and engaged. And because he's helping me, right, buddy? His other way of helping me is to make sure that I make it out of the shower. He's worried about me in the water, and he stands outside of the bathroom door and yells at me the entire time. Be careful in there. Why do you have to do that? Is that what you're thinking, bud? So, let me see what we got for other colors. I've got a blue. Hey, here's a blue. Hey, I'm a blue. So we'll put. Sorry, buddy. I'll put my hand back down so you can. There you go. There you are. Now you gotta get settled again. I'm sorry. I've disrupted him. So in my studio, I've become more and more efficient and comfortable in the studio this year, and trying to make sure that I have all the working things that I need in place. And Corbin looks cute there. Yeah, you're cute, buddy. So I've got it quite comfortably arranged. There he is, helping me with the licking again. Thanks, bud. Just lie down, Corbin. Corbin, lie down. So I've got, this morning I was working on one of these larger commissions, and watching Akira on the television I have over there mounted on the wall. And he sits here beside me and watches TV. Nico's not that affectionate, just in a few occasions. Kiki's all the time with me and following me wherever I go most of the time. Yeah, it's interesting because cats develop one-on-one relationships. And so they define a relationship with a specific other creature, cat, person, and in a really definable way. And then the next person is a completely different basis of religion or relationship. And, I gotta keep Corbin occupied since baby's passed away. He's like, hey, you, get over here and entertain me. Get over here and keep me occupied. Of course, baby's in the studio, just right over there, and she got her toy with her. Try not to move that hand. Sorry, buddy. Here's another green. Yeah, I moved it anyways, didn't I? Sorry, pal. He's literally right here, all the way up to about here, and sitting along my drawing area here, getting himself nice and comfortable. Thank you, Corbin. Buddy, stop it. Sorry. Sorry about baby. Nico follows more my dad, but there are days that cat just wants to be left alone. Yeah, cats, they're fantastic that way. Like Corbin, like sitting on, if it's a really bright sunny day, he wants the curtains, he wants them open so that he can lie in the bed and get the sun directly on him. And it's very vocal about that. I'll just sit there in the bed hollering until I come in. Buddy, I'm trying to do something. So the green is kind of interesting, the dark green that I'm using here, because it's sort of, just picks up as sort of a gray on the paper, which works for us. It does, it works for us. It suits our purpose. Let's see. It's really blotchy color areas that I can pick up on from looking at a small image. So it makes me have to think about where would shadows lie on the face. And it makes me have to make some decisions on my own, which really helps to inform me about where the light and the dark is. There we go. So this is coming together fairly quick. I'm feeling good about this guy's face. He's a scientist guy, this character that I'm doing now. So I'm going to, now I've got this dark green in the hair, so I'm going to do some, can I lift it up a bit to see the strokes? Let's see if I got the capability to do this now. Oh, snap. I have a new setup in the studio that I can just zoom in and out when I need to. The trick is remembering to stay within the camera. Sorry I took so long to catch that. So, yeah, so it's just a lot of scribbly dibbles in different directions and trying to find those shapes. And, yeah. Different planes, different shapes in the faces, where some of these shadow choices and mark choices come into place. Right? This sort of informs us of where things are in relationship to one another, where the cheek is, where the brow ridge is on this individual, where, and when we think of things like a brow ridge, it's not just, brow ridge isn't just this whole flat space here. There's these nuanced element, parts of it that, depending on the folds in the skin and the forehead, and, there's just so many different planes that we can use for our shadows. Use for clearly defining our character's face and the structure they're in. So my reference turned off a few minutes ago, but that's okay. We don't need it. We got it all figured out here. And so what I'm doing now is that I'm coming through. So what I'm going to do is, I'm sorry for the wheeling and dealing around here with the page as I'm drawing. So our guideline in our initial sketch of the red, we haven't been sticking hard and fast to it because it really is a breakdown, a guideline. And so there's all kinds of fun little scribbles of information throughout. I like those kinds of things. I'm not sure if others do. Some people like it to be very exacting, and every mark made and every line placed is with specific purpose. This is a lot looser than that. Working fast and dirty here. So I'm just finding some interesting shapes to put into place on this character and our marks. So this is the fun thing about having paper underneath, is just letting the lines go off the page. You're catching them there. You're not wrecking things. But I'm going to use this as a base for something else. Why waste it? Okay, so here's our fella coming together now. Sorry I'm spinning around a lot, but here we go. So here's the start of our scientist guy. I've got a set of fine liner pens I haven't used. This looks interesting to try. Oh yeah, having a piece of paper, I think that's Linda misses her cat Tiger. It lived to be 19. Oh my goodness, 19. That's a good run for a cat. Baby had 15, but she unfortunately got cancer. But 19, that's a long time. That's great. That cat was taken care of. Yeah, it's tough, right? I'm sorry for that, Linda, that he's passed. Having a piece of paper as a good solution. Having a piece of paper underneath. Thanks, Linda. Yeah, it catches all of the errata, like it catches all of the mismarks and things like that. So I got two choices here, folks. Now, I discovered these really thick, chunky pencils. This one is called Toast. This one is called Almond. They're pencil crayons. And if you've got a wide, you leaving? If you've got a wide sharpener, that's what you're going to need for sharpening these big boys, because here they are in relationship to a Prismacolor. But with my big old goofy hands, they work for me. So now I'm going to come in here with this, and I'm going to pick and choose some little hits of value through here, and this is why I left these areas empty, is for the washout of white. So I'm starting with this almond value, and I'm also going to put some of it in here as well. Little areas, just to tie it together, just to unify it. Because light bounces off of things that are around, and bounce back onto the face. But here's and adding it in with this pencil, just gives us a little more interesting complexity, Finding those little high points, right? Right. Not getting too liberal with them. So here we come in here in the front. So this is why I left this little space in the collar to punch a little bit of white up into that. And then back of the neck. Here's some light coming, bouncing around the back of our character, and hit a little bit of it up top in the hair. So here's our guy. Now, so one of the things that I wanted to do was to bleed out the background. This looks so real. Oh, that's nice of you. Edible pencils? One would think. Hey? It doesn't smell like almonds. Does it smell like toast? If I'm smelling toast right now, we're in trouble. But you can see that they've got these different, this is the toast. This is the almond. This is honky. So I'm going to come in with this white now, and I'm going to put little emphasis points in here. Just little, tiny little super bright spots that's really where the light's really hitting in here. And hopefully this is going to give the shape that we're looking for clearly defining the features of our character this way. Corbin's over there on the other side of the room now, sleeping on his chair. He's had enough of Dad ignoring him. So that white really punches it up. And so one of the things that I wanted to do was to play with a circular shape in the background. And then we'll have so I'm trying to leave a tight little orange line on the side of the face so it doesn't wash directly in. Try those new pens. Oh, Chris says they work nicely on paper. They're creamy, very creamy pencils. And yet, not too creamy. I don't like pencils that are just too gobby and thick in their application. Sometimes with some creamy pencils, you'll find that are just everything has this sort of minimal pressure gives you this opaque application, and just because they're so creamy that, I mean, they work really well for specific purposes, but outside of those purposes, they can be just a little bit disruptive. So I'm putting this circular shape in the background here, and then I'm just going to expand and wash it out. And the reason for this hard light around our guy is because it really pushes so now it's really going to push some of these marks on this side really forward at you because of the washout from behind. And it helps to sell the illusion of a two-dimensional object having volume and shadow through contrast. Broke the tip of the pencil. Aggressive penciling, that's what that was. So there, as we're pulling out, and so I'm going to lighten it out as I go, and then we'll go around the back of the head as well with the same circular construct, and then hopefully that will do it for us. Is he kind of a disappointed scientist? Oh yeah. His expression is difficult to discern right now for me. I think he's I was going for reflective. he's deep in consideration for what he's working on. He's really thinking deeply about inventing an invisibility serum. Yeah. Using multiple light colors and while to show light. Do you always do that? I haven't been paying attention. Yeah, I like to monkey around with tones and values. Like I'm going to switch out of the white here in a second and going to that almond pencil too, because as the light gets farther away from the central core of it, it's going to diffuse out, right? And so we can switch down to another color, this cream color here for the rest of the area in the orange. So if this is my core circle, and if this is my secondary circle, so we know that the white follows, whoops, I'm sorry, follows through in the back like so. Might have to sharpen this again in a second. A fun tool to use for something like this is a white crayon, because you get this really sweet kind of granulation that happens. And so I suggest, I mean, these aren't, it's just a white crayon, you know, but having a white crayon with no cover on it in your toolbox lets you play with application of light in a composition. But again, the sort of tools that you use are depending on the surface that you're working on and the mediums that you're using. Sometimes, you know, that's not going to take, right? Okay, switching to the almond. So, so now I'm coming in with this almond color for the diffused light around the central circle. We know it's there. I don't know how much other people are going to know it's there, but so this just works itself towards the orange a little more clearly. So I'm moving right into the white area with it and then coming out. Yeah, so that's doing the job. And then we're going to come out right to the extreme edge of the surface now. Yeah. So there we go. So there's our scientist guy. Yeah, look at that. It fits right in the frame. We win. I'll get my head out of the way so you can see that big old noggin on the road, Runsman. So there's our image encapsulated in the frame there. So this is our scientist guy. And so for this we used an orange piece of cardstock. We sketched out our composition in the red. The reason that I use the red like that is that it works with the character. It works with the composition of the character. If it's a really pale person, you're not going to use a red, you know, maybe because it's going to give too much punch of depth, right? And then we went through with that light green to find our basic shadows, and then we came through with that secondary green. So there's that red, there's that green. And we came through with this secondary green. And then we chased after some of the darker values with the blue and the brown. And that's what gave us some of these really deep black-like values that aren't black, but blue and brown. And then we finished up by using this cream color and this white color to do our contrasting values. Chris says, I've never used pens with colored pencils. Oh, So there's one. Let's do another one. And we'll do the same thing. We'll come at it with the same approach. We'll use this dark brown. So we're going to go for an even darker surface. Okay. So we made a mark on the back to see that the brown will work, and it will. All right. So we're going to flippity-dippity it. Now, I'm going to come in here with red again. And so I'm going to pick another face, that one. And I'm not making it bigger or anything like that. We're just going to use it as it is and make us have to think about the character as we're drawing it. So if I'm going to I've got two different ways I'm going to approach this, folks. I can do it with, I'm going to have to use the more opaque value, I think, for people to be able to see it. Yep, there, okay, there I'm in frame. Now I'm good. So, but I'm going to just put in some basic structure here, because all I'm seeing is flat areas. I can't see a lot of the detail in the photos. And that's okay, we don't need it. We'll figure that out as we go. All right, and then, so we're going to jump immediately to the other side of a value spectrum right off the hop. This is the side of the head for me. Here's the other side of the head for me. All right, let's go. So I've got the toast. Doesn't smell like toast. So now, right at the beginning this time, before I start putting other marks down, I'm going to use this toast color. It's like an almond, right? Well, I guess it's not. The other one's the almond. I guess it's toast color. And I'm going to start finding the light values in here right off the hop. And we're going to come at this, instead of picking out the darks, we're going to start picking out the lights in here and finding the structure of our character's face this way. A really light application, not pressing heavy at all, because as we press heavier in areas, it's going to make the value more opaque. So working from a small photo or a small source image, like a really small one that you can't rely on all the details, is that it makes you think of the structure of a face. It makes you think of the relationship of the face and all of its parts together. You're not copying, you're thinking. And because you're thinking, it's going to be yours and not the photo that you're using. But, give yourself the time to find those shapes. Give yourself the time to pick out details too that you want to place and where you want to place them, right? Give yourself that time to do so. Yeah, let's get some more pencil crayon color in here. So I'm coming in with this red. Okay, and so now I'm jumping the opposite direction again. And I'm going to put in some of the deeper values with the red pencil. And then I'm going to come in a second with the red pen and punch some of those even harder. And we've got lots of shadow under our neckline. I don't know if you can see the character yet. I think it's coming through. Ah, I caught your life. It's the first one I've done in a while. It's good to see you. So, Liz, we're doing things the opposite. First we did pens and darks on a light surface on an orange cardstock. And now we're doing on a dark brown cardstock and finding the character, then the light in the character from a different approach. So this is the red I've got here, and so now I'm coming through and finding some of these shapes and details. I can start to put in a little bit more of those shadows, a little bit of shape here to the lips, and it's not as deep and opaque as the brown value was. We're starting to allow the colors to start finding the features. But the nice thing about using this red pen in here is that it has a different luminosity than the brown. Good to see this. So I'm happy that see everybody's doing all right. It's been a tricky year. Lots of things going on. Our youngest daughter's getting married this year. So I've been practicing all my 80s dance moves. No, I'm not allowed to be silly. So here's our character coming through now. A little bit more. Let's start playing in the side of the face for the hair and the overlap and find some of the shape and the form in the hair. So I'm doing this with the red pen on a brown paper. Thumbs up. Oh, there we go. Thanks very much, man. Yeah, so we're going to get Chris is going to join us this week on a stream. Very exciting. So I'm finding, rather than jumping right to a really deep dark color, I'm working my way towards it. Leaving out spaces that we want to apply some lighter value to so that it pops through. But even in the areas that we know are going to have a lot of shadow, we're not just filling them all in, because we're going to find some shapes in those too. Whoops, I'm so sorry. Move over to the side there. A little bit of value in the hair over here. Some shape in the hairline. And we're going to come through and pop in a little bit of directional shadow. Have I? I have drained this red pen of ink. Okay. Dead pen. So this one goes. Next. Getting a nice close-up today. Christopher is fun to watch. Oh my goodness. That's very nice, yeah. Yeah, that's right. There we go. Now we got some juice. Okay. So here's our next character coming in. So if you're coming in, you missed the start. I've been doing a bunch of these 5x7 character studies. And it's important that no matter how much we, and whatever position we are in our creative journey, that we still allow ourselves to go back and explore and to engage ourselves into learning some more, pushing ourselves a little bit farther. Okay, I'm going back to this almond now. And, sorry, I moved that down. And we're there. There it is. All right, so I'm coming in and I'm finding a couple of the areas that have some lighter value to them. So we're just going to pick and choose some of those out. Now, I'm going to come back in here and I'm pressing a little harder now. So it should be a little bit more opaque in certain areas. But now that we've been putting some of those red marks down and finding our deeper shadows, let's go back and apply some of the lighter areas as well. Yeah. We're not getting too crazy with this high contrast because this person is more in a shadow than our last one was. Let's put some shape into our neck now. Yeah, I'm not feeling that shape. I don't know about you guys, but goodness gracious, do I even own erasers? I haven't got a single clue where an eraser might be. You know what? We'll work with it. So we're going to come back through here, top of the hair. Now I've switched to this toast color, as it's called, and which is a little bit darker than the almond, right? This is darker than this. And throw it into the top of our hair here. Now, we'll just cut that line in right there. I really annoyed myself for a second there. So now I got this dark brown. And starting to find the really dark bits of shadow through here. Give this a little bit more form. Bit under the chin. So just being sparing, right? We're getting nice close to. Oh, that's true. Thanks, guys. That's nice. Yes. So we're being really sparing with the dark value here, and really using it for really defining our shadows. I sound like I'm asthmatic the way I talk when I'm drawing. I was showing somebody something last night, and I forget sometimes that when I'm showing stuff to students or others, that when I'm showing them some drawing things, I'll draw upside down so that they can see from the right perspective. And I always forget that I don't think about it too much, that I'm doing it like that, and other people are like, "You're drawing upside down." Yep. It's the same as drawing it, right side up, I guess is the word, but when we're drawing upside down, it actually makes us think a little bit more about all of the decisions that we're making with our marks. Give it a try. I find it's really helpful to try to get a good clean clear sense on structure and the shapes that you're putting down. And then when you're in the zone and while you're doing it, you don't even necessarily recognize the fact that, oh, this is the wrong way up. And there's a great deal of things that you'll find benefit from doing that. Because once you're in that practice, well, there you go. You're off into the races. Hi, Mariah. How you doing? I'm listening and putting on makeup. There we go. You going someplace fancy? Okay, so coming back in with this red, and I'm going to jump over to a yellow. What? Yeah. And fun, now that we've got all kinds of little pen marks everywhere, we're going to get some interesting things happening with some teethy marks like this. I love that. I like those teethy marks. They give some character to things. I like the teethy. Hopefully, coming in here with this yellow into the cheeks is going to give a little bit more definable shape. A character's face. So, sorry I've been away, folks. I'm going to be back more this week. I've been out there getting a lot of things done and busy working. And had some fun opportunities for teaching, and yeah, it's been great. No complaints. Getting ready to stream. It says, you are a natural beauty. Invited Eddie. Too, gonna get the chat crazy. Nice. Do you cut your hair or is it naturally wavy? Is that Mariah? Are you asking Mariah that, or you're asking me that? Crazy hair is what I got. My hair is kind of possessed by demons. Okay, white. White is for these really raised areas. So it's adding raised cheek. We're being really sparing here with the white. A couple little pokes in there with it, really. Okay, where was I? Toast. You know, the challenge of buying tools that have fancy names is that, oh, for heaven's sakes, you know, what color is this? Toast color? It's very silly. Red pen. Mariah, yeah. Every character is so different. I love it. Oh, well, that's nice. Yeah, thanks. The whole idea, the whole process that I'm fiddling about here with is pushing different faces. We're really playing with things and pushing boundaries a lot, like the lady who's blue or the lady who's orange, or, you know, I'm going to do a guy who's green, I think, today. And just really getting myself to step outside of a kind of comfort zone for how we see tonality, how we see flesh tones, how we see, how it works for people. And, I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun. What time are we at? I got to be conscious of what time because I got another meeting coming up this afternoon. All right, so there is the start of our next one. And I'm going to have to finish that after because I got a call coming soon. Planning out some stuff for Sunday for the students. So, yeah. And then I got to remember to email Chris. Write that down. Chris K. Email. There we go. Okay. So there is our next start for our next. There's our tools that we've used here, and a couple of pencils, 5 pencils, 2 pens. There we go, and a brown piece of cardstock. So yeah, so I've got all of these different pieces of cardstock kicking around, and there's the other one we did today. Let me see if I can. There we go. There, now you can see both. So we've got a couple today. The luminosity that kicks through in this as we moved along farther, I'm really happy with, and that's just pencil and pen, pencil crayon as well. So yeah, so we're gonna add a little bit more to this. I think I might duplicate this face a few times, like it's a repeat, like it's the same person over and over and over again. I think that's what I might do with this. So yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I'm sorry I've been away. But like I say, last 2 weeks, lots of busy things going on, and lots of teaching going on. So I'll be back for each day this week, and then we're going to have Chris join me. I think Thursday is going to work best for me with Chris, but we'll see how it goes for her. And Chris is a clone person. Yeah, it's a clone person. And I hope if you guys are able to come and join in. And yeah, thanks very much, everybody, for coming out. It's yeah, it's good to see everybody. Okay, that's it for me for now. Oh, and on cue, my phone is buzzing. Thanks, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Okay, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.